Hey guys, so I am back and I'm here to do a review and swatch video for you for the ColourPop Super Shock eyeshadows, and they are all the rage on YouTube now. They're kind of an Instagram famous brand. They are definitely a social media sweetheart, and these products are kind of new and innovative, and I wanted to give you my thoughts on them as well as share swatches of the ones that I have in my collection. So let's just jump right into it. So just some quick background on the company. ColourPop is, as I mentioned, an online-based company. So you can only order their products online via their website, ColourPop.com, and that's color with a U, so it's C-L-O-U-R. So they are US-based. They are located in LA, Los Angeles, California. They are a US company, and I love supporting US-based companies because we are helping our own economy by supporting these brands and these companies. And they are cruelty-free, so they're definitely not tested on animals, so you can rest assured. And some of their products are also vegan, so if you're into vegan products and cruelty-free US-based companies, definitely check them out. I know not all their products are going to be vegan, but you can check out which ones are. And I think the website is a good website. It's easy to navigate. They have good pictures on there, but I think the best thing about the website are the descriptions. They have great descriptions of the colors, so if you want to know what the color is, they describe it to a T. You can really understand the color and the nuances through their description, so I think that is really great. Also, if you sign up for their newsletter, their email newsletter, you will get $5 off your next purchase. You'll get a code in an email that you can use for $5 off, which is like getting one of the Super Shock shadows for free, or just put it towards your purchase. And another thing, they do offer free shipping for any purchase over $30. So if you spend $30, you're going to get free shipping to the US. They're also working on shipping to international countries. They do ship to, I believe, New Zealand and Australia. I may be wrong. But they are working on international shipping because a lot of people are interested in their products. First up, I think the most intriguing thing about these products are that they are $5. $5 for each and every one of these shades. They are closely priced to drugstore products. I mean, they're not going to be Wet n Wild prices where you can get a quad of eyeshadows for $4.99. They're more in line with NYX Cosmetics and Milani eyeshadows that you can get for $3.99 and $4.99. So I look at them as a drugstore competitor in that sense, that price-wise they're competing with drugstore products, and size-wise you do get 0.07 ounces of product, which compared to like a smaller eyeshadow on the market, the NYX eyeshadows, like the single eyeshadows, which contain 0.05 ounces, the MAC eyeshadows as well, these contain 0.07, so you are getting a little bit more product for the price. So let's talk about the packaging of the Super Shock shadows. These come in little white pans, and the pans are screw top, so they have a screw top lid rather than a flip top, and they do have a transparent window at the top so you can see the actual color, and the ColourPop logo is printed on the front of that. What I really found impressive about the packaging, aside from it being pleasant to look at, they use a screw top design, and the screw top actually goes almost 3/4 of the way down the actual pot itself. And this is key because these are cream type products and they are likely to dry out. So with the lid being so deep down the actual pot, so it screws down, the threading actually screws down pretty far. This means that it's more airtight and it's less likely to dry out. So I think that was really great of them to keep that in mind when they were designing the packaging to fit with the actual formulation so it won't dry out. And they do recommend securely tightening the packaging once you're finished with it so it doesn't dry out. Then on the back you have a transparent label with black printing on it, and it does have the shade name on it as well as the size, and sometimes it also has the finish of the actual shadow itself. It also has the manufacturer and location information as well as the size of the product. They come packaged in these little boxes with the ingredients on the back, and I think the packaging is great. You see the color through their little see-through hole right here. I think the packaging is sleek, it's cute, it's really pretty, and your shipment will come with a handwritten note on their ColourPop stationery, which I think is really cute. They have like a purple and aqua blue theme. I think it's really pretty. How they package these when they ship them is really good because they package them with foam. So your eyeshadows are wrapped in the foam in their personalized ColourPop boxes, which I think is a great touch, that they are making sure they have their signature over the boxes and everything is saying ColourPop, which I really love. But I must mention the shipping, which is not good. It is not good, and it's something that they need to work on. And as a new company, I think it's something that they're working out the kinks. But shipment for me takes anywhere from 10 days to 2 weeks before I get my shipment. And you don't always get a shipment email. I've gotten shipment, I've made numerous orders, and I like doing that because I can figure out how they work shipping wise. Like, you make one order, you can't really tell, but sometimes you get a shipping notice with a tracking number, sometimes you don't. And I've reached out to customer service where I see my package hasn't come, I haven't gotten an email or anything, and I'll write to their customer service, and they're really responsive, which I must say their customer service is top notch. If you send them an email, they will respond right away, help you out with tracking information, help you find out where your package is. So customer service, really great. Shipping, really crappy. 10 days to 2 weeks before you get the order. And I mean, they are coming from California, so I give or take a couple of days, but something they need to work on. I've seen a lot of people tweet to them too, and on Instagram comment to them, where's my package? I haven't gotten an update. I don't know what's going on. So I think that's something they need to work on. But their customer service is really good, I will say. And then really quickly before we jump into the actual swatches, there are 6 finishes available for these shadows now. There are matte shadows, satin, metallic, ultra metallic, pearlized, and pressed pigments. They also have some shadows, and they name them shadows instead of eyeshadows, that aren't eye safe. And those are the more pinky, red based, or neon shadows. And those you'd have to use at your own risk on your eye area because the ingredients in them aren't approved by the FDA to be safe for eye use. So be mindful of that. If you're checking them out, they do indicate which ones are not eye safe. So first up we have the shade Fringe, which is described as a shimmery champagne with gold and silver glitter. And I'll apply this with a brush as well so you can see the color payoff. This is a synthetic brush. You can see this is such a beautiful color when applied with the brush or with your finger. With your finger you'll get a more smooth finish, and if you use your brush and really blend the color out, you'll also get that smooth, even finish. This is a gorgeous highlight shade. The glitter really sticks onto the skin, so I really love this color. Next we have I Heart This, which is described as a cool toned silvery taupe with multicolored glitter. This one is very similar to Fringe, and this one has a couple more colorful glitters like a blue, a purple. You can see the reflex versus Fringe that only has silver and gold. And this one is more of a silvery color versus Fringe, which is more of a golden shade. Either of these ones would be beautiful on the skin as a highlight. You don't have to get both because they're very similar in sheen. As you can see with these colors, if you use a synthetic brush and a primer, these do apply well with the brush. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do finger swatches from now. This shade is So Quiche, but I would pronounce it So Quiche because I see what they were going for. It's a play on words. This is a soft olive with a highly reflective gold and pink glitter throughout it. And you can definitely see that pink violet glitter just reflecting through that color. And this is a beautiful metallic shade. Next we have the shade Smash, which is described as a neutral medium warm beige with a soft golden satin finish. This one is a beautiful color, and because it has a satin finish, it applies smoothly, gives a nice sheen to the skin, but without being over glittery or metallic. Then we have the shade Play, which is a yellow peach, and this one is one of the matte finishes. This one is a very pale peachy nude shade. It actually doesn't come off fully matte. The matte textures have a different feel to them. And the matte shades are tricky because some of them don't apply quite evenly. This is one of them that I didn't enjoy because it doesn't apply quite evenly with a brush. You would have to use your finger to get kind of a clean, opaque, full coverage on the lid. Next we have the shade To a T, which is a mid-tone warm brown, and this one again is another matte shade. This one applies a little bit more smoothly when you use a brush, and it's actually a great color to deepen up the outer crease or to give yourself a light, simple daytime smoky brown eye. So here are those shades swatched. This one is Bill, and it's described as a muted plum beige. And this one is a little bit different on my skin tone. It's coming off more of a pinky gray shade. Here we have the shade Moonin, which is a metallic shade, and it's described as a rich blackened bronze highlighted with warm hints of pearlized glitter. And this one again is a gorgeous deep bronzy shade, but it has more golden and purpley glitter throughout it. Here we have the shade Game Face, which is one of the ultra metallics, and this one is described as a penny copper with a liquid-like ultra metallic finish. And this one is a rich bronzy copper shade. It's so beautiful, it's so rich in pigmentation, and it applies smoothly and evenly on the skin when using your fingers. And then last up for the neutrals, we have a deep dark matte brown shade. This is Fairfax, and it's described as a black brown. This one is definitely a rich espresso brown on my skin tone. It does apply a little bit darker. You can use this for a smoky eye to build up depth in the crease. It's a really pretty color with a matte finish, so it's versatile for adding dimension to a look. So here are those 7 shades again swatched on my arm. Here we have Girl Crush, which is described as a true mid-tone gray with a matte finish. And I would describe this one more of a taupey matte gray. It's not really a true gray. Then we have Bandit, which is described as a warm rusty brown with a matte finish. And this is a warm-toned, almost orangey brown shade. Then we have On the Rocks, which is described as a vibrant true bronze with gold and violet glitter. And here are those 3 shades up close. Now let's move on to some bright shades. This is the shade Sour, which is described as a light neon lime, and this one has a satin finish. This one, even though it says it's a satin finish, it does have some fine micro glitter to it, some silver glitter, and I think it's a beautiful shade. It does come off a little bit more sheerly though, because it is a neon shade, and neon shades are very tricky when trying to get full pigmentation, but it's a beautiful color if you're going for a pop of brights, especially for the springtime. Then we have the shade Heat, which is described as a bright light yellow orange, and this one again has a satin finish. I would describe this as more metallic though, because it comes off as like a very bright yellow gold shade. But again, with these bright colors, I feel like if you wanted to build up the pigmentation, you have the option, but if you also just want a sheer pop of color, this is a great way to use it. This next shade is Animal, which is one of their pressed pigments, which is kind of a different version of their Super Shock shadows. This one is described as an electric bright neon coral with a subtle flash of gold. And this one is a gorgeous light coral shade, and it has a lot of pink to it, and then it has that very light, almost champagne gold glitter throughout it. It's a beautiful color. It's a great summer and spring color as well. I think these shades are definitely gorgeous for the upcoming warmer months. Next up we have the shade Sunnies, which is described as a juicy, vibrant orange with a satin finish. This one I don't think is so much of a bright orange. I think it's a more subdued orange, but it's definitely a gorgeous shade again. Against all these brights, it does look a little bit brighter than I'm seeing it when I'm looking at it. Here we have Slave to Pink, which is another one of the pressed pigments, and this one is described as an electric neon pink loaded with blue, violet, hot pink, and silver glitter. And this one is so gorgeous, okay? You just see this loaded with glitter. It's bright, it's in your face. This is definitely not for the tame of heart, but it's so gorgeous. It's such a pretty color. Now we have the shade Ibiza, which is described as a bright turquoise with gold and silver duochrome. And this one is one of their pearlized finishes. It's really gorgeous, but again, it's one of those sheer shades that you would really have to build up to get intense pigmentation. Here we have another pressed pigment. This is Too Shy, and this is described as an electric neon cobalt blue packed with violet, aqua, and silver glitter with a magenta flash. And this one is so gorgeous. This is like a jam-packed blue glitter with purple and violet flash to it. It's such a gorgeous color. It's not picking up as purple in the camera, but it has such a rich magenta purple flash to it. It's really, really gorgeous. And then last up for the brights, we have Kimono, which is described as a bright cobalt blue with silver, blue, and violet glitter. And this one is a metallic finish. And this one is more subdued than Too Shy, imagine that. Too Shy versus Kimono. But it's a more cobalt type blue versus that bright, intense metallic blue of Too Shy. And again, here are all those neon bright colors in my collection. These shades I find to be more sheer, except for Slave to Pink, which is just bright and in your face. But the other shades are more sheer. They're not really intense colors. They don't have intense pigmentation. You're definitely going to need to build them up if you want the color to show up brightly, or use them over a sticky base. But you can also use them as accent colors instead of going for full-on bright color effect. You can use them as accent shades and apply them on top of an eyeshadow or on top of a really sticky base to give that great pop of interest. Now we're moving on to deeper, more smoky colors, and this shade is Hammered, which is described as a smoky olive with tons of gold glitter and a soft sprinkle of multicolored sparkles. This one is a metallic finish, and oh my god, this is so gorgeous. If you're into olivey tones, this would make a great smoky eye. It would make such a gorgeous nighttime look. Then we have the color Shameless, which is described as a black drizzled with multiple shades of green and subtle hints of blue and gold glitter, leaving a metallic finish. And this one is so gorgeous. It's a black shade with gold and green and blue glitter to it. It doesn't look that black because of the glitter. Now it looks like a deep blue teal shade. It's such a gorgeous color. This one would make an intense smoky eye. It's very eye-catching. I think this one is just a must-have. This is one of my favorite colors if you're into sparkly smoky eyes. Then we have the shade Bay, which I absolutely hate that word and I wish it never existed. But this one is a rich eggplant purple with an emerald and turquoise and glittery duochrome. And this one is a gorgeous color too. If you're into eggplant purple, so that deeper, redder purple, this one is gorgeous, and it has blue iridescence, purple iridescence. It's a gorgeous color as well. And another gorgeous purple shade is Envy. This one is a black saturated with violet glitter. And oh my god, look at this. Look at it. It's so gorgeous. It's, again, a black color, but with that purple glitter makes it look like a deep blackened purple. This one is so gorgeous. This one will make a show-stopping purple smoky eye. Then we have the shade Lace, which is described as a deep, rich blue violet. This one has a pearlized finish, and it's a little bit more sheer than the other, so you do have to build it up to get that color payoff. But it's another gorgeous color, and it has purple and blue shimmer to it. Now here we have the shade Rex, which is a black drenched with multiple shades of blue glitter. And this one is also metallic finish. And again, it's one of those black shades that's just jam-packed with glitter. This one has blue glitter, but it still flashes a little bit purple. You're seeing a lot of blue on camera, and it still reflects a little bit of purple, but it's more of a blue, and it's really gorgeous. Again, a great, deep, dark, smoky eye. Oh my god, these colors are driving me nuts how pretty they are. And then last up, before I just cannot take it anymore, this is Deck, which is a metallic gunmetal with lots of silver and pops of pink and violet sparkle. And look at that guy. This one is a deep gray shade with a lot of silver sheen to it, a lot of silver glitter. Again, it has just touches of pink and violet in it. Very light touches, but Wow, it's such a gorgeous shade. Again, if you're into silvers but you don't want to go too bold, too icy, this is a great option to go for a gunmetal shade, which is a little bit more subtle and it's not as in your face disco ball as a bright tinsel silver would be. I think this is a great option. So again, here are the deep dark smoky shades in my collection, and oh my god, these are to die for. I think these are my favorite out of the entire collection, would be the deep glittery shades. They're just so perfect for smoky eyes, to give them interest and to really make them stand out. I think these are such gorgeous shades. Here we have some neutral but still borderline colorful shades. First up is Lala, which is described as a true rose gold in an ultra metallic finish. It is exactly that. It's a gorgeous rose gold shade. Next up we have the shade Drift, which is described as a true cranberry and it has a pearlized finish. And this one is a deep burgundy cranberry shade. It's absolutely gorgeous, would make a great smoky eye. Then we have the shade Mittens, which is described as a deep warm brown with red violet undertone, and this one has a matte finish. Then we have the shade Erotic, which is described as a super neon candy apple red with sparkling pink and copper glitter, and that is exactly what it is. It's this bright neon candy apple red, and you can definitely see the copper kind of yellow gold glitter and very lightly see pink shimmer as well. And this one says it's not for eye area, and that's not surprising because it does have red pigment to it, but I'm just surprised they would include one of these, but they can get away with that by calling it a pressed pigment rather than an eyeshadow. Next we have the shade Sugar, which is described as a metallic silvery blue shade with flecks of silver and champagne and gold glitter, and this one is definitely gorgeous. It's like a fairy tale icy blue and it has gold and champagne and silver glitter. It's a really beautiful multi-dimensional shade. Now we have one of my favorite colors. This is Etiquette, which is described as a true royal blue and it has a pearlized finish. It makes a gorgeous deep navy smoky eye. It's such a gorgeous rich blue color. And then last up we have the shade Effect, which is a black and teal, and this one has a matte finish. And it's a rich greenish teal shade. It's really deep, really gorgeous. That again would make a gorgeous colorful smoky eye. And again, here are those colors swatched on my arm. These are, again, gorgeous shades. We have some nice deep smoky shades in this collection, and then that center shade that's just a one-off where it's a bright, gorgeous red, but it's not eye safe, so I would be careful if you want to use that on the eye. Now that you've seen the swatches, we can go into the application, the formulation, and the performance of these shadows. And really quickly from the website, they do recommend using your fingertip and a tap-in motion to apply these to your lids, and also using a fluffy brush to blend out the edges. And if you want to get close to the eyeline, the lash line, use a fine synthetic brush. And I'm happy that they said that, because they are making it clear that their the shadows, not eyeshadows, are meant to be used with your fingers, which some people may be turned off by initially. They're like, what? Because I am one of those people that I don't like applying eyeshadows with my fingers, but I was still interested in trying out the formulation just to see how it works and try it out for myself. So what I found was when you apply these with your fingers, they definitely apply much better, much smoother. But you can get the same effect with a synthetic brush. If you use a dense synthetic brush, I've applied these with my MAC 242 flat synthetic brush. I've also used them with the IT Cosmetics eyeshadow brushes, the IT Cosmetics for Ulta synthetic brushes, and I find they worked best with synthetic brushes. The IT Cosmetics ones and then the Real Techniques brushes also work really well for these eyeshadows. I will say that the matte formula is probably my least favorite of these, especially the lighter shades. For the deeper shades, I actually found they performed well, but the lighter shades do get a little bit choppy and can go on a little bit patchy on the lid. And I found that they don't perform well with eyeshadow bases. So if you're using a creamy product, before you place these down, they don't really work as well because these are a creamy type of formula. So they don't mix well with other creamy products. So if you're using a primer or another base, make sure it's like a matte finish and it dries down completely before you apply these over it, especially the matte ones. For the pearlized, the satins, the shimmery shades, I find they might interact a little bit better with bases. For eyeshadows, these have somewhat of a unique formula, a unique texture to them, but if you're familiar with the bouncy blushes from Maybelline, that spongy kind of mousse texture, it has kind of a similar spongy moussey effect, but it is a denser, thicker formula, so it does, when you press it, it does kind of leave an indentation from your finger or from your brush or whatever you're using, and it does move around kind of like Play-Doh. It is a very unique texture. I think you won't really know until you touch it yourself what it feels like, but it is a very smooth texture. It's a very moussey texture, and it does feel a little bit damp to the touch, which may make you a little bit wary, as I was with oily lids. I was like, oh crap, these are gonna crease. And for that reason, I tested these out over and over again with a primer, without a primer, to see how they would fare throughout the day. And with a primer, no creasing, as expected. Without a primer, no creasing, which was a surprise to me. I was like, what? But these don't crease on me, which was a surprise with my oily lids. So I was very impressed with that. So if you have oily lids and you're worried about the cream formula or the creamier formula, don't worry too much. These don't crease, and definitely with a primer, they won't crease on you by my experience, and I have really oily lids. For drier lids too, I think you might enjoy these because they are a moist formula. I should mention though that with eyeshadow bases, so if you're thinking a MAC paint pot or like a NYX eyeshadow pencil, those creamy bases that you may want to put down before you apply these, the matte formula doesn't really work as well, I find, with a cream base down before. Especially the light shades, the lighter matte shades, I almost wouldn't recommend. I'm not a big fan of them because they do apply patchy and they don't go on opaquely without a finger. You can use your finger, of course, but they're a little bit more troublesome to work with because they can leave like a crepey look on your eyelids. But the darker matte formula, the darker matte eyeshadows actually work really well, and I've used them in videos before. I'll leave a link below, and you'll see that they actually work pretty well with a brush, and I really like how they apply. My favorite formula is probably the, I don't know, like the pearlized finish, the pressed pigments, the ultra metallic, the metallic. They work beautifully. They are absolutely great. They apply well, again, with a brush. They're going to give you a sheerer wash, but you can build it up, or you can use your finger, which gives you an intense payoff right away. Again, you can accomplish the same thing with your brush if you just build it up. And they give a great metallic reflective look to your eyelids. You like glittery colors, if you like colors that have like a blend of different nuances, duochromes, these are gonna be your friends. If you like metallic shades, these are gonna be your friends. These are really pretty. I think they work great as accent colors. I think they work great alone. A lot of people use the metallic shades as accent shades on the middle and mix them in with their matte eyeshadows, you know, regular powder eyeshadows, and I find that they work well with regular eyeshadows. They do, you know, interact well with others. They play well. You can blend them out with your brushes with matte eyeshadows. They do work well. And what I really love about the glitter shades is they stick to the lid. So you know, you have loose glitter, you need a glitter adhesive, you need this, a mix and medium, and for it to actually stick. These stick wonderfully without a glitter base, and they stay put, and they are gorgeous, and the glitter shows up really well. I can't say much more than I recommend these. I think they are great. Stay away from the lighter matte shades. The pastel-y matte shades, they don't really work that well. And you saw in my swatches how absolutely beautiful these are. I cannot say enough, and they're $5 a piece, so you can definitely test them out, try them out, see if there are any that you're interested in. I definitely think they need to work on their shipping as well. The shipping has not been the best for me, but I find with new companies that they need to work out those kinks when it comes to shipping. I find shipping is kind of that growing pain that new companies go through, so hopefully they get that figured out soon. So overall, I think apart from the shipping and the pastel-y mattes, these eyeshadows are a go. They're absolutely great. They are worth the investment. They're worth checking out. So let me know if you check out any shades and how you feel about these. If you want another video showing you the best ways to apply these, because I know people have been having issues. If you want me to show you what kinds of brushes, I did mention brushes before, but I can do a more in-depth video if you want to see that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. As usual, I'll leave a full list of the shadows that I swatched, and links to my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook page where you can follow me along. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye!